Hi Aquarians, just finished a reading, so check it out. What kind of choices we are going to face this month? What do we need to go back to in order to unravel, in order to kind of like pull the strings and see where they go? It looks like something got really tangled up, and it is time to cut the cords. It is time to kind of like roll forward with sunshine in our back. So let's start. Hi my dear Aquarians, my friends, how are you? How was your last month? So you have seen what I shuffled through, and I have to say I was like really taken with what I see in front of me. It's kind of like very zone, volcano and volatility. And talking about volcano, it was like this huge eruption on Hawaii's big island, right? So rocks the size of basically microwave ovens, like 2 feet in diameter, have been shooting out of, I think it's Kilauea volcano. Please don't judge me for my pronunciation. I think it was the biggest eruption in almost a century that basically happened. And they had like this kind of like bubbling in asphalt, right, going on, and the ash has been kind of like rising 12,000 feet, or like that's about, I don't know, 4,000 meters. And it's probably something that you should take a look, with the roads falling apart and homes destroyed. And it's like simply seeing how the nature can influence us and kind of like issue this kind of like alert, and even I think radiation and aviation alert. Probably not radiation, probably was the wrong information. But I couldn't not to think that because this happened yesterday, that Mars entered Aquarius and also Uranus entered Taurus. So please, if you haven't checked my new moon in Taurus, you really should, because this is not an ordinary new moon reading. You know that I rarely do new moon kind of things, because when when Mars makes a move through a new kind of like astrological sign, then our instincts are kind of like flushed with fresh purpose, right? So Mars rules desire, sexuality, drive, but also passion, anger, and kind of like almost like animalistic and explosive kind of things. So Mars is always at work, and it's encouraging us to react in a way that might not be socially acceptable. So we might kind of like blur things out, right? So it's the fixed sign we are, right? And we are kind of like really deeply embedded in our own uniqueness. And if somebody asks us to kind of like abandon our eccentricities, which sometimes just like they come out without us even like knowing they would come out, so we even surprise ourselves if we are forced to simulate, we will rebel. And this is like what our path over here is. So this is just to remember that even though this is like something really coming on strongly and with a strong message, this doesn't mean that, you know, we kind of like don't care about a person. In fact, certain things will be happening that is going to contribute to the kind of community at whole. Because in this particular picture here, we see the goddess who lives on the big island of Hawaii. I think this particularly is Pele, that is kind of like really in the craters of the active volcano Kilauea, which kind of has been really reactivated last night or early in the morning today. And this is also considered passionate and volatile and capricious, and it's kind of like the best known of many Hawaiian deities, right? And she has been sending like quite a bit of these kind of like ribbons of lava down and scaring us like with that huge power, right? So about volcano, they're like really unpredictable, very much like Uranus, very much like Aquarius. And so we have to take into account what's happening, and also put that together with the fact that North Korea now doesn't want to denuke, which is probably not a big deal because probably I think their nuke factory has been nuked down. But still, if they do have it, that might be a concern, because what can go wrong? You give a crazy person, you know, like the button to the nuclear weapon. So this particular, guys, for us Aquarians, can be a particularly volatile time. And just like this volcano, just like something can happen to us, that we feel like huge rocks, microwave sized rocks are being thrown at us, right? Or being thrown around us, because to us, sort of like we don't even notice things like this, because that's kind of like a baseline for us, right? And that's other people notice, and that's why we are called kooky and crazy and whatnot, right? It is kind of like time for us to shake up maybe our fixed sign, because Uranus in Taurus is shaking up that fixedness, right? And Mars in Aquarius is also shaking up the fixedness. Maybe we have formed some kind of thoughts, what is we should be doing, how we should go about it, what is the foundation of our security, right? And we might reassess the direction of our life and question relationships, reevaluate the work we are choosing, and maybe reconfigure everything. So we will be making lots of adjustments in a really kind of quick way. Just like you need to adjust in front of lava, you really have to get out of the way really quickly. But we'll be moving forward and kind of like welcome the new kind of things with arms wide open, and kind of like almost like embracing something new. It's going to be a really cool thing, like really nothing to fear. And it's basically saying, look, you're on the right path. It's kind of like something that has been brewing slowly, and it's going to be very much this important in the area of relationships, because there is this emotional fulfillment. I have a feeling that Aquarians, we are known for our intellect, we are known for a reason, we are known for kind of like attaching label. We sort of like process, analyze, package, and sort it out. We are really well known for that. But others really hesitate approaching Aquarians because of that rather clinical approach to things. I have a feeling that maybe it's going to be eruption, and maybe all garbage that has been generated is going to kind of come out. I have a feeling that maybe in this month we are going to develop highly intuitive qualities and abilities to kind of like really see things and see people in a different way. We probably will be embraced by many and kind of really enjoy it. Maybe it is something that is going to set us on this kind of like new path, kind of like maybe it was a scorched earth, but it's certainly going to be something that is going to be very productive and very loving. This also could be the last stage of something that has been brewing for a while, so we are going to see it. So let's start. Have children. I'll actually start with and then engagement. Let's start with what is on the bottom of the decks. Healing family issues. Well, it looks like there are still some kind of issues that are stemming from our childhood, because it says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And many of these cards I really don't like their descriptions, but this one is very valid. It could be that we are working out still as adults something that maybe we don't even have to work out. Maybe we are working out receiving love, or we have suppressed something inside of us that maybe, you know, is not serving us well, and it's maybe time to unlock it and kind of like throw it out. We kind of have to figure out and kind of like backtrack to what was that is still affecting us today from the time when we were kind of like small, because the children also showed up here, so it's obviously connecting. And the bottom here is talking about, okay, persistence. Well, this is kind of great card. I actually really like this card, because this tells me, you know, this is to me a card of a winner, even though I know the Six of Wands technically is. Looks like we have been for quite a while on our own and kind of like processing things, starting inward. And this kind of means active approach. We are finally saying, yes, I have been bruised, I have been wounded, I have been going through thick and thin, I have been down in the trenches, but you know what? God damn it, I am moving forward, and I'm moving forward trying to accomplish what I did set out to accomplish. So sometimes in 9 of Wands, the strategy is kind of like needed. Sometimes maybe it was embarrassment along the way, unhappiness with how things have been working. But one thing is for sure, that the person did feel that they are doing something right, and they kind of like they want to continue this. So we are going to see how that's going to work. So you have children and engagement and playfulness and honeymoon, finances and career on our mind, deception, the true love, wow, heart-to-heart conversations, attraction, and past life relationship. That's kind of interesting because it's resonating with these healing family issues. So let me see. We have the Empress reversed. We have here 10 of Pentacles, and let's not forget we had the 10 of Cups over there. We have 8 of Cups reversed, 3 of Wands reversed, the Magician, 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Knight of Chalices or Knight of Cups, 8 of Swords reversed, and the World reversed. Actually, this is very interesting. So Aqua, it looks like to me that something has been brewing for quite a while. There was like going away and coming back to the same issues, something from the past, something that we wanted to detach from and we couldn't, and something of an emotional nature, which maybe we were healing the situation. You know how sometimes you go to a doctor and they give you a pill to kind of like handle the symptoms. Ooh, I have to sneeze. Sorry about it, the disparity of that. You know, you kind of go there and they heal the symptom, but they don't really heal the core of the issue. And this is like kind of like a feeling that I keep getting over here as well. I mean, first of all, we have 2 8s on each side, and I know this is Celtic cross, but I actually really interpret Celtic cross a little bit differently because cards are cards and they are showing up for a reason. So here we are talking about a kitty walking away. So why? Is there something that is very interesting in the evening? And why to leave everything? You have everything, seemingly everything, right? The warm milk and the warmth of the home. So why to go out? Well, it is what it is. It's the nature. We have to figure out if there is something interesting out there, because we tend to always kind of challenge the situation. Status quo is always feeling kind of like retrograding and not moving forward. Maybe it was a situation that has made us very, very happy with someone, but it's also telling me that maybe we were looking at someone through the rose-colored glasses, and things kind of like maybe got ugly, and yeah, and they just like, I was like, where did I see that? Because it just came out of my mouth, and there it is. Maybe there was a third person, so that honeymoon maybe was short-lived, or it was some kind of rejection, or maybe it was like walking away, coming back, not knowing in which direction we are going. And I think it was the issue. Again, this is also telling me the third party over here, that it could be somebody else who this is the card of giving and taking, and in this particular case, look at the kitty is sharing the toys with everybody, kind of like, look, I have enough for everybody, right? Let's not kind of like grab everything, just like grab what you need. But this is the key, what you need. I think even the communism as an idea was based on, well, everybody's just going to take what they need, forgetting the nature of the human, that, hey, we're going to grab as much as we can get, not just like, hey, I need just like 1 meal, I'm going to grab 10 if it's offered. And this is kind of the card that kind of like warns about that. It warns about everybody in the process. If you're the one who is the giver, then you have to be aware, if you're opening yourself to giving, that everything can be grabbed, and you're going to feel at a loss, you're going to feel betrayed. If you're one who is a taker, you know, you know, beggars are not choosers, as they say, but like, are you going to take everything? And then, yes, you're going to win in that moment, but close the door forever. Putting this together, it feels like that somebody was in a situation of making a decision that kind of involved more people. Probably at the very least 2 other people, like possibly it was a, not a threesome, but triangle type of relationship, where where that one person really felt they're making the right decision, and they're sort of like, oh, you get this and you get this. The problem here was that nobody felt this is right, and nobody felt this is just, and it created a whole bunch of trouble in a relationship. And I think somebody pulled away over here. I see it here too. It just all of a sudden it felt like, oh my gosh, like it was so great, it was so playful, but now I don't see these ships coming home anymore. I don't see the investment in that. I am just like stepping out. These ships to me are always friendships, relationships, partnerships, whatever kind of aspect we had, because we felt we have been lied to, or there was like some kind of lie. Mind you, the Ace of Swords reverse, which is one of my karmic cards, it was a karmic connection. So we are going through a karmic period, learning a lesson. And this is kind of like a harsh card, very much like that volcano. This is something coming really, really fast, but we felt we lost. Again, from these 3 people, we felt we were not the one who got it. This also can mean somebody not telling us the truth, and by just not telling us, it actually becomes a lie, because by the nature, the person should be really telling us more about that. So it looks like there was no sincerity. Maybe there was a playfulness. Maybe somebody was taking this playfulness too far. Maybe kind of like they had their own agenda. Well, I'm doing the right thing, and all of you kind of like sit still. And this is like really not an essence of this equality, with everybody being on the same page, understanding how much somebody can give. And maybe it was just a simple lack of explanation that just like went like tits up. But it looks like, and I see it here as well, that something is, I guess, waking up. There is like either the optimism that is kind of like coming back. Look at this. We have the Sun, which is 10, and we have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have 1, and then we have 10 of this. So Aquarians, it's almost, we are almost there. Everything would be okay, but this card came reversed. This is the one that is sort of like a problem. So, but let's get there. Children and the Empress. And the Empress is also talking about the children. Were the children involved in the process? Were somebody's children the part of a decision, and hence, you know, maybe somebody was in a relationship that is dead, but staying there because of the children, because of somebody, you know, being there. And maybe they haven't communicated that, you know, they're insecure, and they have sent off wrong signals. Or maybe we are taking our children in account. Well, how will they be affected with a new person in our life? This also talks about an inner child and how we feel inside about this, how also well in touch we are. The Empress also talks about creativity and talks about expression, and looks like we kind of like really couldn't express, or what we were expressing was like not in a beneficial way. It kind of like could have been just a pure anger. Maybe we waited for someone, and here we go again, like we waited and waited and waited for someone, or somebody waited for someone. Because this card always, the 2 of Swords and the 3 of Cups, the 2 of Swords is always waiting for somebody else to make a decision. And it could be still that we are going back to this, that somebody rendered this decision and kind of like left us in some kind of flux where, you know, the closure maybe hasn't been received, and we had every indication to believe that this is it, that this is going to be that important connection, because that was some really, really big connection, and this could be us really, really heavily suffering over here. And, you know, maybe it could be even us who have left and who are coming back and leaving, but still suffering nonetheless. because this is also telling me this third party, and just like the pain of thinking, oh, you know, she's with somebody else or he's with somebody else, is just like, I mean, excruciating over here. But then this is crossed with engagement, and this is kind of engagement. So somebody is moving forward. So here, your life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So for those of you who are in a relationship and maybe are thinking about going to the next level, and for those of you who maybe have been going through the rough patch, it looks like that things are stabilizing. Like that volcano is kind of like starting to be dormant at this stage, mostly, right? There's still some kind of instability. Of course, the hot lava is still kind of like running those ribbons down. But this is really telling me that now there is like this understanding. Maybe not everybody was on the same page, maybe because I see the children here again, like apropos this line, it was something about children, and children coming like keep coming strongly, right? Same here, this is like about not only choosing one person but choosing their entire family, and it looks like that integration did not happen, but it might happen now. But somebody's going to question this. Somebody's going to question if this is like solid, because you have the Emperor reversed and you have a five of Swords reversed. Is this going to happen? The Emperor reversed is talking about destabilization, maybe logic, maybe this is not thought through it, but weirdly enough, it's kind of like there is like obviously overwhelming sense of belonging to that person, to kind of like moving forward. Or maybe this also could mean, because tens after all are just like the final stages before the new start happens, maybe one phase is over, maybe something that has been very destabilizing, like that volcano, something, again, this is the card with the third party. It looks like somebody really won, meaning getting an upper hand, but didn't win the war, won the battle, and everybody lost the war, but still holding on to, I want this battle, I want this battle. Where the truth is, like, I mean, there is like this damage and wreckage everywhere. This is asking for the new start. This whole period is asking for this new optimism, right? Because look at this, we are going from the Sun to the new phase, to the Magician. So what is crowning us is pretty much what we do, finances and career. And we are kind of like really paying attention to our new start, a new life. It is kind of like connecting with healing family issues. It looks like also we exited the period of codependency, and kind of like it does feel as a strong pull to the past. And here, that's what I'm saying. Otherwise, it will be okay, but it keeps resurfacing. It was like something from the past that left a huge and a deep mark. It's kind of like really amazing. The Magician is talking about, hey, I can do anything. I can create anything. Just tell me, what do you want? And there it is. There is like moving forward to kind of like maybe it was a period of trouble or something. And interestingly enough, the Moon reversed, and we had the Sun here. So the clarity on the job front, especially, I would say things are going to get better. There's going to be new venue in how to do things, how to perceive things, and again, this is that intuition that is coming to the fore. I don't see that much of torment that usually I see in our readings. I mean, swords are definitely kind of like not really great message, especially the ones that we got, but these are good swords. These are saying, look, I have to kind of like live with this decision. Look at his big eyes from this kitty, and the little one, and that's again that inner child. It's kind of like, yeah, on the surface doesn't look good, and under the surface it doesn't feel right. So it is kind of connecting. It really tells me, yes, we kind of have that intellectual capacity to connect and to produce and to generate, and it is time to move forward. it is time to move on. It is moving on. It is kind of like reaching new level and new clarity, and it looks like it took a while to get to this level, very, very long time, because the seed is tense. It was like the whole cycle, everything had to work out stage by stage. I think this was done for Aquarians to really fully embrace the message and understand the value of what we bring to the table. Yet, still we have something ahead of us that can create some kind of deception and being left out in the cold. This actually can also talk about the finances and some kind of like issues on the financial front. Deception is really talking about the masks and something not being presented to us the way it really is, or maybe even us not still kind of like taking down our walls and being able to really show us for who we are. It looks like that what has happened, it just like left us really with injured soul that I see over here, left us wondering, you know, and left us feeling unworthy. It could be somebody from the past. I keep seeing that, and I just didn't want to acknowledge it up to this point, but it's showing up again. Somebody from the past either appearing physically, contacting us, or really all these kind of issues that we have been going through resurfacing, and we would maybe look at them once more. It's like when you go in the attic and things are tucked away, you don't think about them. Maybe you have resolved these things a long time ago, but the fact they're coming forward now, it's the attic of our soul that we are entering, and be opening this box, and you know, you're overwhelmed. Whether the smell that you feel that kind of reminds you, just like triggers you, whether it is, you know, the color or something that just like maybe even brings tears to your eyes. And it kind of like brings and pulls all these emotions. You open the box, but it's almost like pulling the button. And for us Aquarians, this is like even a much stronger message than for the other people, because emotions don't come to us as naturally as to the others. Not contrary to what people say that we are not emotional. I don't know where they get it. I mean, I cannot speak for all Aquarians, but I have done readings for enough of Aquarians, and speaking for myself as well, we could be actually overly emotional. It's kind of like that we will not allow emotion rule us. That's much different from the not being emotional. And here we have, look at this, Wands and Pentacles. So there is like sort of like a new start. There is like this volcano that kind of like almost like it's scorched earth. Something is not growing. Somebody maybe we still wanted somebody back, but maybe somebody deceived us. So there are like two kind of like things at the same time. Do we want to go upstairs, or do you want to go downstairs? Like, I mean, you want to go both at the same time. And this is kind of like coming here to say, listen, why are you longing for someone who just like doesn't care, who hasn't been right, who has been deceptive, who hasn't chosen us, who maybe didn't kind of like tell us the truth, who finally left us in the cold, kind of like really sacrificed us. And maybe it was that kind of like embarrassment that I've seen this before, that we always want to be strong. Aquarian is a masculine sign. We want to be strong. And the truth is that we had to learn, this whole lesson was about boundaries. Maybe we got ourselves involved in something we shouldn't have. Maybe we were fighting somebody else's battle. Look at them, they're all fighting over this little mouse, and my mouse is just going to walk away. Everybody loses in this particular situation. But this is also a really good card that talks about, hey, you know what? Setting boundaries is really important. Playfulness is also very important, and we had this playfulness as well, right? So, but there is a fine line between aggression and playfulness, and that's the problem. And it is not us who determine this line. It is like that interaction in between these two people where the line is being kind of like created, and it can change all the time. The more negative experiences one person has, the more this person goes into, okay, I need more space, I need more time, you know, in order to get there. So all we can do is to really understand and to be with somebody, not to trigger them. Well, true love is really amazing. And before I get there, yes, I think it was somebody we truly loved, and we truly couldn't understand why things happen. Maybe things just like, maybe really feel, the problem is like feeling that our boundaries have been violated and we are maybe still suffering, like when the death comes reversed. It talks about coming back, just like here, keep coming back and suffering over something that has happened a long time ago, but now the suffering is happening with us regurgitating all the situations and all the circumstances that have happened already. And we kind of like, again, I want to go upstairs and I want to go downstairs. Some of us still actually want to go in that direction. I think it kind of like, there is a feeling that yes, this cannot work, this has to die, but then why did it die? So this is where it's kind of like really difficult. You know, turkeys get drowned by looking up in the rain, because the rain actually goes down to their throats and basically drowns them. It's kind of like one of these situations. Let's not be turkeys over here. It's more than crying over spilled milk. It is kind of like real suffering here over something. And I know that I just cannot tell you just like stop it, because contrary to what others say, as I said, you know, we are not lacking emotions. In fact, it could be quite the opposite, that we are so overwhelmed with the emotion. Because look at the moon, the Pisces, look at that Scorpio. So there is like that emotional impact, and also the sun, the pride of the lion, that is like over here, that is like really coming forward. It is kind of asking us to stabilize. It looks like we cannot find our own sea legs in this whole situation. There is a conversation that might take place. This is our environment. Heart-to-heart conversations, and Knight of Chalices reversed. So this is the Knight in the shining armor, and it looks like we fell for it once. You fool me once, I'm the problem. Fool me twice, you are the problem. And I think this is what's going to be really communicated. So look, you have been nice and romantic, and yes, I have changed my ways to be around you, with you, to wrap myself around you. And what have you done? How did you repay me? It hurts. It hurts. Yes, I do want you. I do love you. But I don't want to be with you. I sincerely see that in the cards. And guys, you tell me what you feel, and maybe this is where the volcano is going to, yeah. There is the sadness, and there it is. There is the tower. That's the volcano in tarot. They might actually they even might tell us that we are the problem, but the truth is that something hasn't been built properly. Something, even in inceptions, we probably knew that something is not sitting right. I don't know. Maybe somebody was with somebody, they still didn't resolve their situation, but they kind of gave every indication that the situation will be resolved. And the situation, instead of resolving, was continuing and continuing. Maybe you became a sweet secret, and then everything went off the rails. And this is simply saying, look, thank you, but no thanks. I have been for it, and my logic, thank you, is I'm Aquarius, is serving me well. That yes, I'm very hurt about this. And in this case, you are my soulmate, but this is not the way to continue. Have you handled your issues? And why are you coming to me if you haven't? Because I don't want to go through this. You have rocked my world, and not in a good way. Like rock size of the microwave have been hitting me, and F you. This is going to be a huge blow up. And they're going to get them served back. They might actually come almost like aggressively, and this kind of like worked in the past, because it almost like gives me this feeling why Aquarians can't resolve this, that somebody was really representing a huge happiness. Like, I mean, it was like something that we see it there as well, that is a past life connection. So I guess this is like what you call twin flames, and I'm not a big believer in twin flames, but definitely a karmic soulmate. Somebody who probably the couple have been chasing each other through centuries and through different lifetimes, and keep making promises. We are going to fix it in the next life, we're going to fix it in the next life, and the next life happens and we do not remember. We kind of like keep going on our way and keep living our life, and then one day you are sitting in a lunchroom and you see this person, and then you remember, and it just like hits you, and then the whole life wrecks for everybody involved. And that's what happens with karmic soulmates, because they remind you, hey, I'm here to kind of like work this out. And then you like, the pull toward is like very, very strong, because look at here, attraction is there. Like it feels like it has been there, it never left. And plus we're getting this word waiting for, which initially when I saw that, I thought it's going to be something new. It might be something new. Looks like we are putting an end to something, to some extent, because this is talking about strength. This is talking about sustenance, right? Because look at here, the kitty is here trying to climb down, but he's blindfolded, very, very scared. There's like this fear, but since it is reversed, the fear is no longer there. And this is no longer fear of communicating the needs, no longer fear of saying, look, you know, I just can't live through that once again. It is what it is, and we had our chance, and you know, if that was like so important, why it went this way, and how would I trust you this time around? So it can be both ways. Somebody will still try to kind of like woo us and romance us, but there will be rejection of that. They are going to, so hopes and fears also can mean, right, there might be fear in continuing, and that might be also a fear that we have rejected them again. It could be hope that we'll be with them again, but also fear, oh, this is not going to work out. So see, this is like really one of those cases where it's kind of really difficult to find that spot of what can I do in this situation. Oh boy, this is a really difficult reading, really intense. I can see that volcano, something really brewing and brewing and brewing, that kind of like stuff, and coming out big times. Kind of, I cannot live with you, I cannot live without you. Because there you go, past life relationship, that person, whether it's a new person, if you meet a new person, guys, this person is going to look like somebody that you fit, like, you know, this, what is this, Cinderella's shoe. It's a glass shoe. It's like a perfect fit. And that's where the hook is, because there is this recognition of this past soul. You see, this is the cycle completed, the world. It means everything is there, right? So here we have like all this like air and water and fire and earth. All of these kind of like elements are here. But when this kind of reverses, it's talking about something really fixed, a very fixed position. This also tells me it could be a few elements, Taurus, the fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and what am I missing? Leo. That could be kind of involved over here. And there is another 8. I think we had 8 here, I had 8 here, and I had 8 here. So the 8s are talking about commitment or lack of commitment. And this is also a card that usually talks about love, eros, kind of like, do you love me? And as I was saying this, I kind of like flashed in front of my eyes a picture of a person in bed who is late at night lying down and saying, hey, do you love me? But the person is alone in bed, and the person is saying, you know, come to me. And that's that emotional Aquarius. This is where this is kind of like still residing. Okay, so there is another karma card, and I think it's going to be released. This as a last card worth waiting for. This lasted a long time. With Tower here and Volcano, maybe Aquarians, you're going through this for about 16 months. Healing. And the healing was not easy, being the 11th sign. 11th sign is a healer. So who heals the healer? You have to heal yourself. And it looks like the wheel is turning and the luck is looking up. And yes, Volcano is going to happen, but it's going to happen for a good reason. It's going to happen to be beneficial, and that's why everything came here positive. It's kind of like a time to really make that decision and reach out. Okay, so what do I do? Do I really go upstairs or do I go downstairs? Because where I am, I have been through it, and this tower and this volcano I don't like. So maybe it is just like, where was it here? See this? Waiting for somebody to make a decision for us is probably not going to work anymore. That is kind of like destabilizing, and there is like a shift. By the end of this period, by the end of June, it's going to be a huge shift. It's going to just feel like, oh my god, I can't release it. And the next day, literally, it's going to just happen like that, like flicking a switch. And the next day, everything will be fine. I kind of like really feel that this is kind of tapping into your intuition, because logically we couldn't reach consensus what to do. We couldn't talk it out without entering another argument. We cannot go in this emotional underworld without being severely affected and getting like overwhelmed with emotions. So we need to right now tap into the intuition and see, okay, where is this guiding us? So Aquas, I actually did pull one more card for you and making a choice. I completely forgot which one it was. So let me just read it for you, but check it out. We have two doors. So yes, are we going upstairs? Are we going downstairs? Are we just simply losing and going back? So let's see what it says. It says you're required to come to a decision now. You have faced the dilemma or a fork in the road and must make a conscious choice regarding the next action. Whatever the choice is, you must take responsibility for it. Yet, you needn't be afraid. It's kind of funny they are talking about conscious choice. To me, I think it's more intuitive choice, because look at here, we also have a bunny rabbit, so that's something I would add in the description here. But anyway, I shall continue. You may not have all the answers right now, because the way ahead can't be known until you have embarked and traveled a few steps. Trust your intuition, there it is. Ask for a sign from spirit and you will be led to the right path. If you remain conscious and aware, your choice will be the right one at this time. Life is always about learning. Success lies in choosing consciously, guided by intuition and spirit. So my dear Aquarians, this is going to be an interesting choice. And I would like to hear from you. I would like to see what you have to say. And again, please check your ascendant. Please check your moon sign to kind of like see more impact on your emotions. And of course, nothing really replaces your private reading. So hit me at cattarot.ca. And also you can check my daily tarot on Instagram and on Facebook. Love you. Have a wonderful month. Let's see what happens.